Hey guys, so I'm going to show you a little bit about how I use the sculpt tool just because of the fact that it's 2.8 and I'm having a lot of fun. I wanted to show you what I found. Um, Easiest way to get going is instead of trying to do all the setups here, we can actually just go to File, New, and go to Sculpting. And this is pretty cool. I started working with this right off the bat, but then I found that you can change the matte caps to something else. So there's some really cool stuff. My favorite happens to be this one. I don't know why, but it seems pretty simple. Over here, turn on dyntopo, and then I usually leave it at 12. And we're going to want to get the snake hook. And I usually zoom out. And you'll see that there's actually kind of like a little bit of a thing with my graphics card where you end up with part of the shell still drawn. See? And I'm just grabbing and I'm getting a basic form. If that's bugging you, just tab back to object mode and tab back to sculpt mode, and that's gone. So it might just be an error with the drawing in the like in the driver or something. And one of the things that I don't like to do is to have it at like low here at the millimeters. I like it to be more like 85. So anyway, I keep it at, like I said, 12, and I'm just pulling forms out. And if I need to get any other kinds of shapes, sometimes I'll use blob, turn around and like that, just to fill. And then sometimes I'll just use the scrape peak, knock it down some. Pressing shift will get you your smoothing. But for right now, just go back to the snake hook. One of the things, I'm not sure what I'm making, so sometimes I'm just making just a sort of a bust, but looking for what sparks the imagination. Maybe just an alien, I don't know. Right now we're just working with this. Maybe I'll try a different matte cap. Back to that one. Okay, maybe we just give him like a really small face and a big head. Okay, but once we've got to this point where I've decided this is where I want to be, then in dyntopo I'll take it down to say 8 or 7. 8. Still on subdivide collapse. That way it'll join things together. And then start working with form. I'll use the clay brush. Scale it down a little bit with F. Then once you hit it, like what I mean is, okay, like this area's got large triangles. Tap and then press shift and it'll smooth. You don't want to, I'm not actually trying to add a lot of geometry yet. I'm just trying to actually just subdivide only certain areas. I don't want to treat the whole model as same subdivision. This is just for prototyping and ideas, and topology is something you have to do later for, you know, something you're going to save as a finished work. Yeah, that's subdivided some more. And now maybe start thinking about what we want to do here. So maybe control, pressing in, maybe eye sockets. Cheekbone. jawline. Maybe he's got an ear back here. And you know, I want to pull the ear out. What a really cool technique is to just use the mask tool, draw in what the base of it will be. I can press M, bring up the mask tool or the mask brush. Shift F, turn it all the way up. I want to bring the ear in there. Looks kind of awkward, but what we're going to do is here we're going to invert the mask. Now we'll go back to our snake hook, make our brush bigger. I have to do some work on it after we get the bulk of the form out. I'm gonna go ahead and just give him a little bit of a mousy ear. A little bit. Okay, and then I'm done with my masking. I'm gonna just go ahead and clear that. And now I'm going to go back to my clay brush. Turn the dyntopo down to, say, 5. Just tap and smooth. Just tap and then press shift to smooth. I only want the detail in certain areas and I don't want to overdo it. Incidentally, you guys need to watch Roberto Rock. His videos. He does a lot of really cool stuff. Master Xeon's got some really great stuff you can learn from, even if you're applying it to organic shapes. A lot of the tools that he does with his sculpting. Just watch everything you can. Anything that you watch, even if it's different software, will actually inform you of techniques of handling actual forms, actual shapes, composition. It's not just about the tool itself, but the technique is universal. How about that? Make sense? But we're just having fun. So got that. Now if I pull back, I'm gonna lose some of the detail. I'm going in there. That's okay. Still not sure about what I'm doing yet, but I'm thinking bulbous kind of nose right here. That. Almost like a piggy. Yeah. A little bit like a pig. Or something from Star Trek, one or the other. Okay. That jawline. Chin. Smooth this area right here. Kind of come in a little bit. Get some matte here. Oops. Fortunately, I still have the problem with shoulders being narrow. A little bit more. I don't want to go crazy, but just as a general rule, ay ay ay. Just a general rule, you want to have like the width of the head come out here maybe, and you here. So somewhere in there, I'm gonna, as I tap, I'm zoomed out, so it's gonna actually lose some of the detail there. Fix that up here in a second. Sorry about the problems with the Windows key. Okay, so we're gonna plant that inward. It's starting to come together. Even if you're pulling this, you can still use a shift key to smooth. And then for the eyes, you're gonna have to definitely use another object. So go to object mode. I think default, it's not showing the 3D cursor, so I need the cursor there so I'll know where it's at. And Shift S to snap the cursor to center. I think they're going to name it something else later. Double click your A to deselect. I'm having to get used to it now. Shift A. I'm going to add UV sphere. Scale it down. Then I'm going to, oops. Okay, here. Mode. Grab it. Yikes. Come on. Okay. There we go. Got it there. That's not the way I like them aligned, even though it doesn't matter. Once you make it smooth, it doesn't really matter, but I like to rotate mine X90 and rotate it on Z just a little bit out. So that way I've got something to look at. But here I'm going to scale it in a little bit. Z to say shade smooth. Big mode. Select mesh. Go back to sculpt mode. Put it back on the tools. Here then I'm going to go back to my clay. I'm going to take it down to 4. Build this up, indent it, and then I'm going to build it back in. Okay, then we come to the part where I do some stuff that I like. Generally get addicted to it, so I gotta be careful. When I come to the crease brush, start working on things like this. I generally start and then I actually smooth it back out so I can get a crisper line. And here I'm going to actually change it to 2. Sorry about all that. Gotta get better at that. I'm not used to the Windows thing and I'm still trying to get used to the Windows system. And I apologize if you're not hearing anything I'm talking about or whatever. I'll try to come back and just do a re-record with the case. Okay, so there we go. We got that. And then, like I said, we've got different options. Like I said, my favorite happens to be there, but if you're looking for like a Maya type, that's pretty close to a Maya kind of thing. but that one that I had was actually pretty close to what we'd expect. And that's what's going on there. It's pretty simple. Just wanted to check something. One thing that wasn't working, they said they were going to fix, see if it worked. Going to just do a stroke on, say, like if we're making here, E, turn around, put curve, click there. It's appearing away from where my click is. So let me just do that. A. Start over. You can see where my mouse is. A little bit off. A little bit off. So let's find out. It's happening close, but it's not directly under. So if I grab all of it and bring it down, hit enter, I'm expecting it right here. Yeah. So it's a little bit off. It's not as off as it was because it was like way off. As yesterday I tried it and it was like, oh, to me it was like a screen inch, like way over here. It's better, but at least you can see how you can get pretty close. So I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna go to line. If you're working with lines, that anchored, of course, is not quite as interesting with that brush. Go with flatten, turn it all the way up. Anchored. So you can see what happens with that. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean, you've got your abilities to do whatever you want here now, but like I said, the main ones that we work with, I work with snake hook, first one, run it at 12. Then start working with clay. Remember, you can use shift to smooth, press control to get the reverse direction. Then once you've got everything where you want it, then you can start working with crease, maybe blob, and things like that. Like inflate, I think that works pretty good for actual bumps. The guy's diseased or something like that. Baron Harkonnen skin. that happens very quickly. Blob is a little bit different. It's kind of like the same thing, but it's more like organic. Nudge to me, more like pushing your thumb, which they've got one for, thought they had one for thumb. Yeah, thumb. That one doesn't quite work the same as I think the nudge. Nudge seems like it's more like, that's me. Anyway, in the end, it's just about snake hook for me. And if you get to where you feel like you've messed up and you need to start over, just since we've got subdivide collapse on, change this back up to, say there, snake hook, make your brush really big, and smooth. Object mode to get rid of the graphics issue, and there you go. Got rid of all of it. Start over. Okay. All right, guys. Have fun, and see you on the other side. Thanks.